Hi there, and welcome to Any Properties. My name is Johan Kutsia, and thank you so much for tuning in. Whether you're tuning in on our digital platforms or on NTV. Boom! We're finally on DSTV. The evolution of media is here. Such a proud moment for us. So thank you so much for following our journey and helping us to reach this point. We hope to engage you more. But after the break, we'll be chatting to Mr. Augetto Graig around a very contentious issue that is forcing developers, it is really extending the development period on construction projects, and it's costing them a lot of money. But Augetto Graig will tell us a bit more, after which Lomari Steenkamp will be heading over to Agra to find out about some of the products that will make your this rainy season a lot more manageable for you. So stay tuned.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, welcome to another exciting edition.
As always, it's an absolute privilege to have Mr. Augetto Graig in studio. Sir, how are you doing today?
I'm good, Yoki. How are you today?
I'm excited, my man. We're on DSTV.
Yes, yeah.
But sir, from that super positive note to something that's a bit more contentious.
Yeah.
I understand that you wrote an article in Republican regarding the Construction Industry Federation's concerns around some of the City of Windhoek's regulations around quality assurance. Can you break that down for us, and what are the implications of these regulations?
Yes. The regulations were proposed by City of Windhoek in April 2020 and have been implemented more and more, insisted upon by City of Windhoek's engineers more and more from about August 2020. And what it entails, it's a demand for much more frequent testing to assure the quality of infrastructure built specifically for sewer and water.
Okay.
So this kind of infrastructure is very significant when we're talking about housing development, because obviously every earth needs to be connected for sewer and water. But even it has implications for road building and just general construction.
Absolutely.
Now, some of the members of the Construction Industry Federation have really been trying to get the city to listen to their concerns, because they say that the bottom line of this new practice is that building time is much longer and the costs are escalated. And what they are saying is at the end of the day, those costs will be passed on, and it will be the final consumer who has to bear the brunt of those costs. And those final consumers are Namibians who are in desperate need of housing, because we've got a national housing shortage. Even in Windhoek, the housing shortage is quite pronounced. And I was fortunate enough to be able to visit a couple of sites which are affected. One in particular is the huge development in Augetto, which involves the road that connects Augetto to Avis, but also the development of more than 300 urban. And although many of the engineers, actually all of the engineers and contractors and various role players that I interviewed, they all want to remain anonymous because they fear repercussions. They fear that the city officials might decide to act in ways that are not favorable. But there,
I love the way you put that.
I saw, for instance, one particular trench which has been open since August 2021.
What?
And we are now in 2022 in February. They say that the reason that the trench is still open, when they filled it with the first 100 millimeter of fine material and compacted it, they had to test in the trench. Then they had to give City of Windhoek's engineers 24 hours to come and check the test. And even though the city engineers did not come in those 24 hours, they are obliged by these new regulations to then send those tests off to the lab, which takes at least 7 working days, but in many cases up to 3 weeks. So it's only when they get that result back that they are allowed to fill the next 100 millimeters, and then do the process again, and then fill the next 100 millimeters. So that is why the trench is still open up until this date. And obviously, the trench being open so long also it causes safety concerns, because the trench can become unstable. You can have mudslides, especially now that the rains have come. They consider, or they expect, the delays to be even more pronounced. In fact, one expert was telling me that where they were initially looking at handover in December this year, they are now expecting only to finish around 2025.
That's crazy.
And you must imagine that this particular project is a PPP, a public-private partnership. So the City of Windhoek has a financial stake. It has a real stake in this project. And it's basically standing in its own way. But because they can't get their concerns to anybody who has the authority to override the regulations or the requirements, it's not being addressed. And even yesterday, when I was getting some feedback on the article that appeared on Monday, still they hadn't heard any positive feedback or been called in or even asked what the problem is, can we talk? So it has significant consequences, although answers I did get from the city through the Public Relations Department said that these regulations are more guidelines, not a change in policy. What the contractors were telling me was that in practice, the change in guidelines will affect handover.
Yep.
And they've already had instances in the recent past with big projects like Ochemuse number 5, extension 5.
Yes, and also the waterfront development.
And with the waterfront development, where there were significant delays. And after much delay, eventually the city just decided, okay, well, we'll accept it, without changing anything, without demanding that anything was fixed. So what is the point then of that delay? Because it costs money, it costs somebody money, but don't think that it's just going to be the contractor or some millionaire developer who's going to pay. No, it's the person who has to buy the plot at the end of the day who's going to pay. And because of the incredible demand for housing in Namibia in the moment, and in Windhoek in particular, those plots will get bought.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although in the Auersblik case in particular, one of the developers told me that he expects more than a doubling of the price of the Irvin,
Wow.
and he doesn't know that he'll be able to sell them. He thinks that probably what's going to happen with that massive project is the project will be suspended, or there'll be court cases. One of those two.
And no one wins.
Nobody wins. So we are hoping that the story will attract the right kind of attention from people whose main interests are the best or what's best for residents of Windhoek. And because if some action is taken, we see the thing about quality control is very important. If quality control is not maintained, then at the end of the day, once the project is handed over to the City of Windhoek, then their maintenance department is going to have a heck of a time keeping things running.
Yeah.
So we cannot have a situation where you are going to forgo quality control. But at the same time, practicality, timeliness,
A conducive environment.
yes, and the costs involved need to be taken into consideration. It doesn't help you build a huge housing development, which is, at the end of the day, because of these costs, going to have to be an upmarket development. There's enough of that. You know, for the people with big money, there's enough choice in Windhoek to buy it. It's not there that we have a housing shortage. The housing shortage is at the lower end of the market. And if you are developing from the start, developing yourself out of that price range, then really what's the point?
Absolutely.
You know, what's the point? It's just to make a few isolated people richer.
And I think, it's quite frustrating because firstly, you've done the work, you have infrastructure on the ground, and you've now also you have infrastructure decaying, like these trenches and everything. And also, there's interest on these credit agreements that are just racking up. I mean, imagine 3 years added to your project. It's phenomenal. It boggles the mind. And another, also the city at the end of the day would benefit through rates and taxes once those erven become, developed.
Yes, the city is very adamant that it needs to provide erven as soon as possible and has been saying that repeatedly. But here we find that the city itself is standing in its own way. And mind you, many of the contractors I spoke to and the developers and the engineers, these are reputable, established companies. These aren't Johnny-come-lately or some kind of fly-by-night or briefcase companies. No, these are companies with years of experience, and they've been applying SABS standards throughout, and that is in the whole region considered to be the standard. Now they are being required to do things above and beyond the SABS standards just because of these concerns about quality assurance. It makes you wonder where the concerns really come from. Perhaps the city has found itself at the wrong end of bad decisions in the past, and maybe there are officials who are now trying to protect the maintenance department, which you can understand. But somebody needs to look at the big picture. And like Ms. Babel Kirchner, the manager of Construction Industries Federation, was saying this, we are in a housing crisis in Namibia, and this is not an issue for the city of Windhoek to take lightly.
No, absolutely.
It's not.
Mr. Graig, thank you so much for shedding a bit of light on this very, very, very tricky situation, because I'll say it again, no one wins. At the end of the day, you have the developer, the construction industry is taking a massive knock. So it's not only the developer that's suffering, that's in a pinch. You have a huge workforce that is standing idle. And at the end of the day, like you said, the cost gets carried over to the consumer. And I'm sorry, but the consumer can't take very much. Mr. Graig, thank you very much. All the best, and keep up the good work.
Okay,
awesome.
Have a great day.
See you after the break.
Vandag hierso by Agra in Lafrenz, en ons gesels met Corneille van die kerk. Hy is die takbestuurder hierso. En dit het mos nou lekker gereën hier in Namibia. Dit reën eintlik nog steeds.
Ja.
So nou is dit nou 'n lekker tyd om tuin te maak ook. Ek sien Agra het krye en saad en alles wat 'n mens nodig het om tuin te maak en te plant en met jou groentetuin te begin.
Ja, natuurlik. Dit is nou somertyd. Een van my gunsteling tydverdrywe is om 'n bietjie tuin te maak en in die grond te krap. En ons het 'n baie groot reeks van saad, kunsmis, maar kom ons begin by die begin. Jy het natuurlik eers saad nodig om te kan plant, en soos julle kan sien, het hier agter my rug is 'n baie wye verskeidenheid van sade, groentesade, blommesade. Daar is grassaad waarmee jy jou grasperk kan plant, wat natuurlik nou 'n baie goeie tyd is om dit te begin. Die weer is 'n bietjie koeler, want hierdie ou saadjies is maar baie klein. So as dit so warm is, dan sukkel ons om gras aan die gang te kry uit saad uit, maar nou is die tyd om gras te plant. Dan natuurlik as jy saad plant, baie mense wil graag eers dit in 'n saadlaai plant, en hier het ons 'n hele verskeidenheid van saadlaaie, verskillende groottes. Hierdie is nogal baie nice. Dis 'n natuurlike produk. Met ander woorde, jy plant jou saadjie binne-in en wanneer daar 'n plantjie opgekom het, dan breek jy net die stukkie af en jy plant dit direk jy druk dit net so in die grond in en dit word later deel van die grond.
Ja, dis nou oulik.
Ons het natuurlik saadlaaie ook, verskillende groottes. Hier is 'n plastiek ene. Ons het van hierdie foamelite, soos ons sê, saadlaaie. So die groenteboere en so aan, kom maak gerus 'n draai by ons. Ons het grootes, kleintjies. Daar's nog 'n kleiner ene. As jy nou net 'n gewone huistuin hier is en jy wil net 'n paar goedjies plant, dan vat jy hierdie ene. En dan natuurlik daar by jou voete is nou die soos ons dit op die sak daar kan sien, die germination mix. Met ander woorde, dit is nou wat jy gebruik om die saadjies in te saai en te laat opkom. En dan natuurlik, as hulle nou eers 'n saailing is en jy wil uitplant in 'n groter ding in, dan is daar plastieksakke. Ons het 'n hele reeks van hierdie plastieksakke, verskillende groottes. Dan plant jy dit oor in 'n plastieksak in. Hulle kom in liters, daar's tot so groot as 12 liter van hulle. En as jy 'n meer permanente ding wil plant, dan is daar natuurlik potte. So ons gaan nou 'n bietjie daar na die potte toe stap, dat ek vir julle 'n bietjie van die potte vertel.
Dis baie verskillende sade.
Soos jy kan sien, het ons 'n hele wye reeks van potte ook. Plastiekpotte, ons het hulle in hierdie terracotta kleur en natuurlik in die groen. Daar's 'n bietjie die meer fancy goeders aan hierdie kant en hierdie pragtige kleure. So verskillende groottes. En dan natuurlik my gunsteling is die kleipotte. Ek is mal oor 'n kleipot.
Is hierdie egte klei?
Ja, dis terracotta kleipotte hierdie.
Ja.
Hulle hou die temperatuur van die grond binne in die pot baie meer stabiel as byvoorbeeld een van hierdie plastiekpotte, want hulle is baie dikker. En dan natuurlik met ons son wat ons in Namibië het in die somer, kan die grond binne in 'n plastiekpot nogal bietjie warm raak partykeer. En dan sukkel jou plante om lekker te groei. En so ons het natuurlik die gieters en soos jy kan sien, pragtige kleure. So
Stunning.
kan aanpas by jou smaak. Daarso is pragtige groenes, pragtige bloues en daar's nog charcoal tipe gryses ook. So 'n hele reeks, pragtige reeks van potte.
Dink jy dit mooi gaan in hierdie kleurpot lyk?
Nee, hulle sal verseker.
En in hierdie pot, wat sal ons hier in plant, hè?
Man, ek dink as 'n mens ervaring sal baie mooi by lyk. Ek hou natuurlik, ek is mal oor russies en warm kos. So ek kan al sien hoe mooi lyk so 'n mooi bos russies hierso met sulke mooi rooi russietjies aan. Ja, so 'n hele reeks van dit. Ons het iets van alles hierso wat jy nodig het om 'n ordentlike tuin mee te maak. Tuinslange, gereedskap, alles hou ons aan. So.
Gasse rande te sny, ek het gesien aan die ander kant.
Ja.
Daai elektriese, wat noem mense hom?
Ja,
die kante mooi netjies weer.
Ek ken die trimmer.
Die trimmer.
Ek het net op die Engelse woord.
'n goeie prys op het ek gesien.
Ja.
Ja, nee, daar's harke. Hier is alles. Mense kom maak net 'n draai en kom kyk. Want nou is 'n lekker tyd om tuin te maak. Dit reën, die grond ruik ook nou so lekker,
Ja.
Dit is nou lekker om tuin te maak. So mense kom maak 'n draai asseblief hierso by Agra in Lafrenz en kom gesels met Corneil.
Ja, ons is hier, kom gerus by ons om en onthou, dit is by alle Agra takke landwyd beskikbaar. Gaan net na jou naaste Agra tak toe en jy sal dit daar ook kry.
Corneil, baie dankie vir jou tyd vandag. Ons waardeer dit.
Dis 'n plesier. Wanneer gaan ons begin spit?
Môre. Today we're visiting Corneil van die kerk again. We can't keep away. Now it's still summer, and summer we know is mosses and flies. And I see Agra's got all the weapons.
Yeah, it is now rainy season, so as soon as the rainy season starts, all the pests come out. Mosquitoes, flies, big problems currently. So you will see an increase in the fly population around your house. Mosquitoes will be everywhere. So let's talk about flies first. Agra's got a huge range of products that we can combat the fly problem with. I want to start off with something like Fendona, Old Faithful, that you can mix and spray. This is an all-rounder. Everybody know this. Fendona is one of the things that you can use if you don't want to put in too much effort and you want a machine to do it for you. There is this automatic dispenser. We have the refills as well, that you put some batteries in, put it on the cupboard, and it sprays the pesticide in the room every few minutes. So then, of course, another product that you can use that doesn't require a lot of maintenance from your side is these fly traps, bait stations. We have different ones from different companies. All of them come with, you can buy the bait separate to refill it again. Very effective, catches a lot of flies. So there's the bait plus the station. Then there is, this one is also a bait station. Nice little bucket that you hang up, and inside is the bait. The flies go in and they all die inside. Then we have another, as I would like to call them, Old Faithful, Augetto. Very effective. Mix this with water and you can spray it, or you can paintbrush it onto the walls, and if the flies come and sit on it, it's goodbye fly.
Love to see that.
Then there's also this fly baits. This is a granular bait. So you put it in a little, on the windowsill, in a little pirang or something, and flies come and sit there. They eat it and they die. We have different sizes of this. This one is currently on special, this big bucket, for only $109.95. But there's lots of different sizes, lots of different brands of this as well. Then there's the sticky traps. Maybe you can remember this from when you were younger. They're making a return. So you hang this out of the from the ceiling, and the flies go and sit on it. They stick to it. But this is the one that we are used to, that we know. But there's also this monster. This is also a sticky trap. This is industrial size sticky traps. So if you have kraals or pigsties or chicken houses, this is the one. It's on a roll. It rolls out. You can hang it up. You can roll it, pluck it, and you will catch millions and zillions of flies on this. It's been around for a while, but it's just it's like a big truck, and this one is like a small passenger vehicle. So it catches a lot more flies. Then we have products that you can mix with water and spray with very great effect. AK-47, Alpha Trin also comes in different sizes from 100 milliliters to 1 liters. Alpha Trin is can kill multiple insects. As you can see, flies, mosquitoes, ants, cockroaches. Very effective, this one. Then, of course, there's the coils. Now we're moving a little bit more over to the mosquito side. Mosquito coils that you light and put under the table when you braai outside or something. There are these little automatic machines that you can put in your plug. So if you have electricity, we sell the machine, we sell the refills. It's all available here. Then there's repellents. All of us know Peaceful Sleep. The one that you can, the stick that you can put on your skin, or the spray that you can put on. So this is just a repellent. There are all the brands of room sprays, Doom, Raid, Mortain, all of them. And then there's even this product that I can recommend called BioKill. It is biodegradable, so it will kill the flies, but it will completely disappear after a few days. So biodegradable products, important if you want to keep your environment pesticide free, to use this. Very effective also. I've seen it work. It works very well. So as you can see, there's a huge, huge range.
Because the moment you start to cook, it's just flies in your kitchen, and it's so irritating.
The main thing to remember about any pest, whether it be flies, mosquitoes, or ants or cockroaches. It's an ongoing battle. It's not something that you can do today and then you will be free of them forever. You have to do this every few days, every few weeks. And if you can, eliminate them at the source. So remove the water puddles or the open water in your area. Make sure that it's closed off for the mosquitoes. If there's manure or dump sites close to you, or where the flies can, where the flies come from, remove it. So that's the best way to go. Ongoing battle. Remember, you have to keep it up. Then you will have comfort. Otherwise, you will suffer.
No, I agree with you. So if the flies and the mosquitoes are irritating the living hell out of you, you know where to come and make it then. Agra Hyper in Lafrenz, and you can speak to Corneille always. He's always there to advise you. Thank you very much, Corneille. We love visiting you. I love visiting Agra Hyper because here are so much products, everything under one roof, and here are just amazing products. So please, people, come and make a turn.
Yeah, just a note, please remember, all of this is available at Agra everywhere in the country. You can go to Agra Karasburg or Agra Rundu or Ondangwa, everywhere, every Agra has got these products available to you as a consumer, so go to your nearest Agra branch and get it there.
Thank you, Corneille.
Neopaints has established a 67-year Namibian legacy, creating personalized paint solutions that blend quality and innovation for the Namibian people. We pride ourselves in being a 100% Namibian-owned company, investing in our country and our people by employing and empowering true Namibians. With every brushstroke, Neopaints commits to our quality guarantee and always delivering a coat of excellence. At Neopaints, we always stay true to our country. We are as Namibian as you.
So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That's been our episode of Mighty Any Properties for this week. Our first one on network television. So make sure you do check out DSTV channel 285 and GoTV channel 94, because that's going to be the home of Namibian entertainment. My name is Johan Kutsia. It's really been a pleasure speaking to you this evening and informing you on some of these really difficult topics. Mr. Craig, thank you so much for shedding some light, and of course, Lomari, she always has so much fun when she visits Agra. So kudos, and thank you so much for the tips and the product suggestions. Of course, we need to thank our title sponsor, Neopaints Namibia, for coloring Namibia, and also a lot of SADC. And just giving Mighty Any Properties the color it needs to brighten up your day. My name is Johan Kutsia. See you next time.